So write this down. Get one contract this week. Write it down. One contract this week. One contract this week. A buyer sale, a listing sold, or a listing contract. A contract. Get one this week. So I just got off the phone with Mike, and we were talking about the complacency that's within, really, our agents in California, our agents in the nation, and the get up and go, in some cases, got up and went. So we're trying to figure out how to light a fire under some of you. Some of you need a fire lit under you, and some of you are doing a terrific job. So the question is, how do we light a fire under us so we can run through the finish line and make things happen at a really high level? I wrote down here, we've made changes over the last few weeks. You've made them, we've made them. We're door knocking a little bit more, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, you're making a few more phone calls than you normally have been in the past, right? Say yes.
Yes.
You're previewing a little bit more property, right?
Yes.
Your noses are growing. Okay, on that one, your noses are growing a little bit. Okay? Okay, we're talking to our sphere and past client a little bit more, correct?
Yes.
All right.
They're afraid to answer that.
They're afraid to answer the door. So all of this is starting to create a little bit more momentum. We talked about this morning, and some of the things that are going on, and I want you to see this moment in time as a gigantic opportunity. So for those of you that heard me talk about this morning, I apologize, but I think it's important. I'm going to say it one more time. This time of year, there's a tendency for business to slow down a little bit. Did you talk about that this morning?
Yes.
Okay, October, end of September, October, November, and December is just time slows down. What the biggest reason, or part of the reason, is that our sellers and our buyers get involved in other things that are going on in the marketplace. They have lives, it's holidays, it's starting to be holiday time, you know, they're going to go take trips with their family, etc., etc. So that tends to happen. So business falls off sometimes 25, 30, 35%. It just does. So when that tends to happen, we as real estate agents start seeing the phone calls are a little bit less, people answer the phone a little bit less, so we tend to feel like there's less business, so therefore, why should I work quite as hard at the end of the year than I was working, let's say, in April, May, and June? Do you guys get where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Okay, so let me share a thought with you. This is counterintuitive. At the end of the year, for you, is generally a better time to do business than April, May, and June. Why? Anybody have any ideas?
Less competition.
Other agents.
Well, your competition's a little bit less. Sorry, other agents.
Other agents are working less.
Other agents are working less, but I don't know if you know how much less. Okay? The typical market is down, let's call it 35%. Okay? So if we normally have 100 sales, now we have 65. You guys with me?
Yep.
Okay. But with real estate agents, it goes down even more. So that with real estate agents, instead of 100 agents working, you have 50 working. You have 40 working. Do you guys see the differences?
Yep.
Okay? So the difference between the number of transactions and your competition becomes your advantage. So yes, there's less business, but yes, there's a lot less competition. So now's the time to make sure that you're previewing property, that you're door knocking, that you're taking advantage of the marketplace. Now's the time when you really want to ramp up your work, and if you needed to take time off, in my opinion, take your time off in March, April, and May, and work like a dog in October, November, and December. You'll probably end up making more money. Do you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one point. The second thing that I want to talk about, that's again kind of counterintuitive, and that is the have to versus want to. We talk about this on and off all year long. There are clients that want to sell, but they don't have to sell. Have you ever run into them?
Yeah.
Right? I'd love to sell my house, but if I can't get this price, I don't have to sell. You hear that all the time. Got it? Well, what we're interested in is the have to sells, not the want to sells. So what's a have to sell client in this marketplace today?
Relocating.
Well, relocating is a job transfer, yes. Those are a certain group of people, absolutely. What else?
Death in the family.
Sorry,
Financial problems.
financial problems, definitely a potential have to sell. However, I want to take a minute on financial problems, because some people are chasing these potential REOs and these bank foreclosures and things like that. I've seen more people lose true equity today because they have gone so long without making payments, they don't ever believe the bank's going to foreclose. Okay? You've seen that, right? And then all of a sudden the bank, boom, forecloses, and they're losing true 40, 50, 60, we saw a deal the other day, it was $200,000. Real $200,000 in equity. Had they sold the property, closed it yesterday versus today, they would have made $200,000 real dollars in their pocket. But because they have gone so long with believing the banks are never going to foreclose on them, that they ended up losing this real money. It's one thing to lose your home and not have equity. It's a completely another thing to lose your property and have had some equity that you could have done something with.
Okay, $3,000 cash for keys.
Well, $3,000 cash for keys is something, and those are okay things. But,
Doesn't compare.
well, it doesn't compare to somebody making 10, 15, 20, or $200,000. Absolutely. So even today, be careful chasing those quote-unquote distressed properties is kind of my point. Because the sellers, I don't think, are quite get it yet. All right? What's another possible have-to-sell scenario, Meg?
Probate, trust sales.
Probate and trust sales, absolutely. And we are an older generation. We're definitely an older generation. I'm from the baby booming generation. And, you know, my hunch, what I suspect, what I see, is that the largest transfer of wealth has still yet to come between my parents and the children of that generation. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, my parents, I was born in 51, so my parents have passed on, but we have friends that still have a lot of parents in their 80s and 90s, and that money hasn't transferred to the next generation yet. The largest transfer of wealth that America has ever seen will be still coming, and that's in the probate and trust situations. All right. So yeah, I think that you can be up on that. But well, what's another now thing? Divorce. Okay, for sure.
They need
For sure.
upsize.
Okay. What else?
What about a new baby?
Ah, a new baby. But be more specific.
Just need to tell
Maybe
them
more
space. More space.
Space,
Yes.
space. So, there's two areas that I think we've talked about in the past, but I think we're ignoring recently. We have a few agents in the company that are doing a phenomenal job with this. And those two areas are A, two-story homes,
Oh, yeah.
okay? For people like me, who are a little bit older, whose knees are starting to give out and going upstairs are becoming a bit of a problem, and that we're looking for one-level homes. So identify those and talk to those two-level people. Two, are two-bedroom, one-bath, and two-bedroom, two-bath condos. Or even one-bedroom condos, but definitely two-bedroom condos. Why?
Family's grown.
The family has grown. So here's the scenario. 6 to 8 years ago, guy or gal, or guy and gal living together, decided to buy a condominium together. They weren't married, or they were just getting married. They had this piece of property. And it was a perfect size, in a very nice neighborhood, and they lived there happily ever after until child number one came. Okay? Child number one comes, and they can, okay, we can kind of live in here. It's a little bit tight, but we're gonna make do. Child number two comes. You can't live there anymore, okay? And there's a lot of that going on. Now, this is a have-to scenario, not a want-to scenario, because they need to move. And a lot of those people are two-income families, and they can afford a nice home, single-family home, or a larger condominium somewhere else that has a little bit more of a yard, et cetera, et cetera. Those are opportunities for you to be door knocking and phone canvassing in these two-bedroom, two-bath areas. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a third area. So those are, in my opinion, the two areas you should be working right now in a big way, and you can get your title companies to help you with this, are the single-family homes the two-story homes of people that have lived in their property 25 to 30 years plus. Those properties are probably paid off, and the people owning those properties are older, because they probably bought the property when they were in their 40s and 50s, and it's 30 years later, they're in their 60s and 70s and 80s. Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
And look, it's just a fact. Your knees start to go out on you. You don't. It's just part of the deal. All right? Second one, of course, is the two-bedroom, one-bath, or two-bedroom, two-bath condos. And the third area is kind of a new thing right now. All the statistics we're hearing are the low-priced properties in almost all of our areas, under, let's say, 400 to 500,000, sell pretty quickly, right? Say yes.
Yeah.
Pretty nicely. And in a lot of our areas, in the 7 to 500 range, 7 to 400 range, are selling fairly well, okay? The area between 700 and $1 million, depending on neighborhood, depending on where it is in the city and how close to the freeways, how close to the city it is, are okay. What properties are not selling well? Sorry? $1.5 million, $2 million properties have slowed down dramatically, right? So it's counterintuitive for me to say to you, you would think it's counterintuitive for me to say to you, work on more expensive properties, because there's a lot of those that can't sell today. If you were to work expired, so here's what I'm going to suggest. Think about this. Work expired listings, make those your first phone calls, in neighborhoods you're familiar with, meaning you're going to have to go preview some properties, in the $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million range, but what you want to talk about is you want to talk about the auction platform Because here is something you have complete exclusivity, almost totally, in most of our markets. And it's something that you can call up and say, look, we have something to talk about that no one else has to talk about. You have that opportunity. And what you're looking for is half the cells. Now, this is important. You don't want to list $1 million houses, because 8 or 9 of those aren't going to sell, and they're expensive to market. But if you go in there with a program and you start asking all the right questions and determine the motivation of the client, you can find clients that are more have to sell, you guys with me here?
Yeah.
Than want to sells, and those are the people you need to be taking listings of, and those are the sales that we are going to make, because those people have equity and they have to sell. Do you guys get this?
Yes.
Okay, this is completely counterintuitive to what you would think right now. Don't work the $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million range. Work it, but work it judiciously. Be smart about it. Do you guys get with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay? Meg, you think? I was working on this today, and I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the auction, and I'm looking at all the information. And this weekend, I mean, my wife and I were talking about where the opportunities are for us as investors to buy. Well, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses, there's no opportunities there. You know, nothing. Apartment buildings, we can't compete with these people that are trying to buy these apartment buildings. It's crazy. Where's the opportunities? We're certainly not going to go to, you know, we're not the kind of people that go to Florida or Houston and try to scavenge or those kind of deals, because the truth is that it's just not our style, okay? And I don't think there's any deals out on the streets for a while anyway. Where are the deals? We think, for us, that they're in the $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million range. Now, you gotta have a lot of guts. You gotta go into these things. But there are buyers, and there's a ton of money on the streets. Do you know, my bank called me the other day, Morgan Stanley, and they said, if we got a deal for you, if you give us new capital, okay, money that isn't with us right now, we'll pay you, listen to this, 1.1% interest for 11 months.
Wow.
And they're calling and encouraging me to do this. 1.1%. And they think it's a great deal and I got to tie it up for 11 months. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Look for the opportunities. So what I mean is there are deals out there, and there are people with money to buy the deals. We have to find them. We have to do the research. We have to get on the phones. We have to do the calling. But if you have the opportunity and you have a have to sell seller in the $1 million, $1.5 million range, you're going to find a buyer. And this auction platform has really done a great job for us finding the sellers' soft spots on where we can move and get their realities. Do you guys get this?
Yes.
Do you care?
Yes.
Will you do it? Okay, well, we'll talk about something else. Okay. So I wrote down here, no, not that part. I wrote down here, the more momentum we pick up, the more difficult we are to stop. The more momentum we pick up, the more difficult we are to stop. So I wrote down, we must be easier to start and harder to stop. Sometimes we're the opposite, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're harder to start It's harder to get us going. It's harder to see the opportunity. We have to be proven again and again and again and again and again, and then maybe we'll take that step. Don't do that to yourselves. Be easier to start right now. Take one or all three of these opportunities that I just shared with you. They're real. They are absolutely real. They're not hard to find. They're easy for you to work on. And you don't have to be, you take Kate or Simon with you on an expensive listing, they're going to help you to a huge degree. You don't have to be a high-end expert. They are. They're going to help you get this deal and get it closed. What we need to do is be able to determine whether or not they're a more have-to seller than a want-to seller. That's going to be our job. All right? Do you guys get this? Yes. So we need to be easier to start, and we need to be harder to stop. We're too easy to stop, aren't we? Something comes up, little problem, hiccup in the road, little speed bump in the road, oh, that didn't work, I tried that once. Okay? That's what we have to stay with our consistency. Okay? So let's talk about building more confidence. So you can build more, when you build more confidence, you can build more momentum, so we can end this year really much stronger than where we are. So I wrote down here, confidence is a muscle. Write down, confidence is a muscle. Confidence is a muscle. And like any muscle, you need to exercise it so it doesn't shrink and waste away. When you don't exercise, your muscles atrophy. If you just sit at home and just watch TV and don't get up and walk and do anything, let's even assume you don't gain a lot of weight, but you just do that. When you get up and you try to walk, it's more difficult, correct? It's more difficult. I've shared with you that right now I'm on a 3 mile a day, and I've been doing it pretty much 7 days a week. I for sure 6. I can't tell you how much stronger I am. I cannot. Every day I do something else that I go, wow, I couldn't do that, or that bothered me, or I was exhausted after doing it 6 months ago. Every single day, something, and all I'm doing different is I'm walking 3 miles a day, at least 3 miles a day. It's the only thing that's different. One of the best investments I ever made was this stupid $100 Fitbit. It's the craziest thing in the world. And I tied it to 4 or 5 people that I like competing with. And every 2-3 times a day, I push the button on the cell phone, and it updates everybody's Fitbit. And it's like, and you're a little competitive, right? So I'm telling you, that's really great. So I wrote down, confidence is a muscle. The problem is, unlike your glutes and your biceps, which tend to stay in the same place, your confidence muscle might be a little bit harder to find. So we have to develop more confidence. And what gives you more confidence? Help me. Practice.
Knowledge.
Money.
Success.
Success. What else? So practice, we're there, but what does practice do for you? It gives you what?
When you achieve a goal.
When you achieve a goal, it makes you what? Feel good, right? When you achieve something, practice gives you confidence, right? Okay, but what I'm looking for is knowledge, okay? When you practice something, it gave you knowledge, right? Which gives you confidence. Knowledge equals, so write this down, knowledge equals confidence. Knowledge equals confidence. That was a hard way to get there, sorry. I worked for that one. Knowledge equals confidence. Knowledge equals confidence. Do you know the scripts? you know what to say and how to say it at a really high level, you're really pretty comfortable and confident getting on the phone or door knocking, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, the same rule applies for previewing property. Why do you think I drive you crazy to preview more properties? Because if you see more property, you have more product knowledge, and when your client says to you, tell me about your 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses with tile roofs,
You have confidence.
you have knowledge, which gives you confidence. And wouldn't you rather be working with somebody who's confident and knowledgeable than someone who's not confident and not knowledgeable, right?
Yes.
You're more attractive to work with. So knowledge equals confidence. And that's what we have to continue to work on. So what we're looking for right now is we're looking for 1 contract per work day. I know you think that's unattainable over time. I'm convinced that some of you think it's not attainable over time. And yet we have people, agents in the company, who do that all the time. So what's the difference?
Mindset.
Some of it's mindset. What else?
Work ethic.
Work ethic. What else?
Confidence.
Discipline. What else?
Constancy.
Confidence. The knowledge to do the job and the activities, the preview property, scripts and dialogues, gives them confidence, or gives them knowledge, which gives them the confidence to go out and do the work. If you're out there doing the activities, we don't see ourselves doing 1 contract a week, but the truth is that you should be doing 1 contract a day. Why not? Why not? It's the only person that thinks you can't is who?
Ourselves.
Ourselves, right? So, let me ask you something. We all have an opinion, correct? We all have an opinion on whatever subject. We have an opinion on whether I'm right or wrong, on whether the Dodgers are going to win or lose, where the Angels are coming at, whether the market's going to go up and down. It's all what?
Opinion.
All an opinion, right? So here's a question. And our opinion is that we can't do a deal a week. That's our opinion. Have you ever changed your opinion?
Yes. Your mind.
You can change your opinion remember, it's your opinion and it can be changed. So therefore, if you think you can do a deal a week or you think you can't do a week, it's your opinion, and we've already established if you want to, you can change your opinion. I like that guy, I don't like that guy. You know, that guy's right for my daughter, he's not right for my daughter. And we're going through this all right now, you know? The last one's deciding on Mr. Wonderful. So it's like, is he right, is he wrong? Is he right, is he wrong? Who knows? Jeez. It's crazy. And we change our opinion 2-3 times a day. But it's our opinion. Do you guys get my point?
Yes.
Okay, the only thing that's stopping you from doing a deal a week are the activities that you're doing and your mindset that you think you can or you think you can't. I think you can. So let's get out of the way of you don't think you can. Let's stop that. Let's stay focused. Let's do what we're supposed to do here. Let's show up, which is what you're doing. Let's do the activities, which is what you're doing. You need to preview a few more properties, you do it. Okay, we need to work on our scripts a little bit more. Okay, do it. You need to call 2-bedroom, 1-bath condos, and you don't know where they are. Check with me, check with your coach, check with the title company. Not hard to find, they're out there. Make some door knocks, talk to them. And on the $1 million plus properties, again, counterintuitive, but it's an opportunity out there that no one's going to be working. Now, can I tell you why you won't work it?
Why?
Just a minute. Can I tell you why you won't work it? Confidence is part of it. The biggest reason you won't work it is because I just told everybody to do it,
Yeah.
and in their room. So now you figure everybody else is going to do it, so therefore if everybody else is going to do it, you know, Neil, keep your mouth shut, and don't stop telling everyone what to do, right? Well, here's the reality. I've just told everyone, plus I don't know how many people on the internet in the company, of this little scenario. And I assure you, by a week from now, that I'll get reports, and almost no one, there'll be a couple, but almost no one will actually go out and take me up on any one of those 3 suggestions that I have. But please prove me wrong this week. Will you do that? Promise?
Yeah.
Yes, I am challenging. Please, please, please prove me wrong this week. Let's go out and have a fabulous week. Thank you much. Kathy, we're